Hey everyone, let's jump right in. Today we're going through a really fascinating explainer on what truly separates the people who build lasting wealth from the folks who are just constantly stressed about money. It's known as the compound power of financial choice. So we're going to deconstruct this today and maybe even rethink some of our own daily habits along the way.
So, why do some people stay broke, no matter how hard they work? It is a hugely frustrating question, right? I mean, we all know someone, and hey, maybe it's even been us at times, who works ridiculously long hours, gets the raises, constantly grinds away, and yet, when the end of the month rolls around, their bank account is basically sitting at zero. We've got this pervasive myth in our culture that merely earning more money is the guaranteed golden ticket to wealth, but the financial reality we're unpacking today challenges that myth entirely.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the income illusion.
The absolute core of this issue boils down to a totally counterintuitive reality. It's usually not about how much you earn, it's about what you actually do with the money you earn. Think about it. If you have a super high income but you spend every single dime the second it hits your account on, next day delivery gadgets or your seventh streaming subscription, you aren't actually wealthy. You are just a highly paid middleman passing cash right along to other businesses. The real financial power is in the retention and the strategic application of those funds.
And that brings us to Section 2, a tale of two friends.
Let's imagine two hypothetical friends. They are starting from the exact same financial baseline, earning exactly $60,000 a year. Now, this is a critical detail because it completely removes luck from the equation. We aren't comparing a billionaire to a minimum wage worker here. We're looking at an identical starting line to prove that what happens next is entirely dependent on deliberate choice, not just the size of the paycheck.
The vivid contrast in their behaviors is where the magic happens. Friend 1, they take their $60,000 and just blow it on expensive clothes, the absolute newest phones, eating out all the time, maybe a few too many of those ridiculously priced artisan coffees. They are essentially taking their hard labor and converting it directly into depreciating consumer goods and fleeting experiences. But Friend 2 takes a radically different, highly strategic approach to that exact same $60K. Friend 2 saves, invests, and actively spends their free time learning high-income skills. They aren't just blindly hoarding cash, they're strategically deploying their resources to build a rock-solid foundation.
The mathematical mechanism Friend 2 uses is incredibly simple, but man is it effective. They strictly save and invest 20% of their income, leaving 80% for their remaining living expenses. This isn't some crazy, unachievable Wall Street algorithm. It's just a concrete, disciplined 20% savings rule. Every single month, before they even think about buying a new gadget or paying for a fancy dinner, they secure that 20% slice of the pie. They are literally paying their future self first, consistently and without fail.
So, let's fast forward. Section 3, 5 years later.
Half a decade later, the realities are just night and day. Friend 1, after 5 years of earning $60,000 a year, is still completely trapped living paycheck to paycheck. That underlying financial anxiety, it hasn't gone anywhere. But Friend 2, because they stuck to that 20% rule, they now have a real portfolio of investments, a fully funded emergency savings account, and extra income flowing in from side projects they built using those high-income skills they've been learning. Friend 2's money is now actively working for them. They have fundamentally changed their entire relationship with capital.
And this perfectly defines what this outcome really is. Financial freedom is a state built not overnight, but through small, smart decisions repeated over and over again. It is not about scratching a winning lottery ticket, getting an unexpected inheritance, or having a sudden stroke of absolute genius. It is simply the quiet, disciplined, unbelievably powerful compound effect of repeated micro-decisions, like choosing to invest that 20% every single month for 5 straight years.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the true wealth question.
Because understanding the concept is only half the battle, right? The other half is fundamentally changing the questions you're asking yourself. The real focus requires mastering 3 core pillars: keeping money, growing money, and investing money. Keeping it requires the pure discipline to control your lifestyle inflation. Growing it means you are out there acquiring those high-income skills, exactly like Friend 2, to increase your baseline value. And investing it means you're taking that money you kept and putting it into vehicles that actually compound over time. You've got to master all 3 of these pillars, rather than just obsessing over landing a high starting salary.
So remember this, your future isn't decided by luck, it is decided by the financial choices you make today. That is an incredibly empowering reality. You are not just a victim of circumstance if you have an income to work with.
every single time you get a paycheck, you are presented with a choice. Are you going to be friend 1 or are you going to be friend 2? Your everyday, seemingly small choices are the ultimate deciding factor in the wealth you are eventually going to hold.
Which leads me to leave you with this final massive question to think about. How much are you keeping, growing, and investing right now? Seriously, don't just gloss over this. I want you to really look at your last month of finances through this exact lens. Calculate your own percentages. Because the honest answer to this question is actively writing the script for your financial future 5 years from today. It's time to take charge of those choices. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time as we keep breaking down the ideas that matter most.